What if I told you that there's a shooting range that has decided to put all of the targets that you shoot as black men, all of them? That's exactly what happened. Actually, some young people exposed this. Let's put up the picture of the shooting range, all right? The targets that they're looking at, all of those targets are black men. This is in Michigan. In Michigan, during a recent field trip to see their local police, a scout troop were brought to the shooting range where they discovered that African-American men were used as the overlay images for the officers' target practice. So literally, look at what's happening here. The police are practicing only shooting black men in their training. Wow. Isn't that something? And the picture that you're seeing all the way to the front, they're looking at the black targets. Farmington Hills Police Department is the name of the department. After the children told their parents about the incident, they were afraid to speak out on their own, okay? The parents of one scout reached out to a lawyer to speak on their behalf and expressed their shock and disgust. Dion Webster Cox, who is representing the family, Webster Cox contends that while she and the parents are not looking to file a lawsuit against the city, there is an issue of racial bias, a lack of diversity, and healthy community engagement worth noting in their policing. But here's the thing, you gotta file a lawsuit. My recommendation is to file a lawsuit because lawsuits can hold people accountable in ways that a letter and exposure cannot, all right? Especially when you have a culture like this. Big ups to those children for speaking up because they spoke up because they're being raised right. That's why they spoke up. According to research by the family lawyer, let's put up the picture again. According to research by the family lawyer, when ordering a picture target from a vendor, talking about what you put on the target, the orders include a variety of targets. But instead of using the non-black targets, they would just reorder set after set after set, take out the black people from each set and only restock their targets with black men. How sinister is that? They are literally paying more money in order to make sure they have black bodies you can shoot. Let's put up the picture of the chief. The current chief, his name is Jeff King. They are being sued by a former black officer over racial bias at the department. In terms of this incident, he claims that their internal probe showed they use more white targets than black ones. Well, I don't know what's going on with this picture. I mean, I see it, but we looked into it and I have no evidence to give you, but we actually do shoot more white people. You cannot make the argument that this is not a culture issue. You can't make that argument anymore. Even those who will see this segment and be pro-police, fine. You can't be pro this though, all right? Age, your thoughts here?
Yes, you cannot be pro this at all. And it's unfortunate because it does confirm a lot of what we already kind of knew and expected. The fact that we are treated like target practice, that we are not seen as human beings, but as sport, as game. And I wouldn't be surprised if this department itself does happen to have a higher than average rate for arresting, even shooting and using fatal violence against black people in particular. And it really, really shows you that these people aren't here to protect and to serve, but really to serve their own desire to uplift white supremacy at all means necessary.
And here's why they want to indoctrinate children to believe that racism doesn't exist, that the history of this nation is not rooted in bloodshed, violence, bigotry, and prejudice, because they don't want children calling them out like these children did. As soon as they walked into this place where the powers that be have normalized prejudice and corruption, they immediately were uncomfortable. And here's what happens, and I tell people this a lot, Adrian. One of the most underrated experiences of the human journey is being uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, things change. Things change. These kids were uncomfortable and now things are changing. And so I need more people to be uncomfortable with corruption, systemic bias, prejudice, racism. Be uncomfortable because you're gonna be forced to do something about it. All right.